Hello again. Welcome back to another episode of The Works. I'm Jim.
I'm Diane.
We did this last night. So exciting. You know what we did last night? Not that.
Yeah. Naughty.
No, the long-awaited return of... Oh, come on. We did it last night. We ran out 9 o'clock to go get a fried apple pie
from McDonald's.
The first time, I was shocked that they left us in 1992.
Was it 90? I was thinking 93. 92.
They were phased out in the United States, citing
they were
health
so
concerns
good.
Because people were burning their mouths. But
for the love of God.
Well, no, that's what it was,
yeah.
right? I mean, it's like the whole coffee incident and that, people suing them over
the baked apple pie would be equally as hot, no?
Well, it wasn't, and it was different because they're like little vent holes in it, remember?
Oh, yeah, they were gross.
They're not nearly as good but I did notice, as soon as you crunch into it, it's kind of that memorable, oh my God, this, fried apple pie, for God's sake.
It's almost like
and it makes more
an
sense.
Egg roll wrapper kind of crunch.
It's great crunch. And if I have to compare the two, there's no comparison as far as overall taste, but I do think that with the fried apple pie, they can get away with less apples. I swear to the Lord, there are maybe two or three. It's mostly the molten lava apple filling that you get. And
it's really, really sweet because the outside of it is not sweet.
But with the baked pie, I think there was way more apple in it. But there's no comparison. The deep fried apple pie, back at McDonald's since 1992. And apparently when it was first introduced like in the late 60s, that's a long run, and the fact that it's been gone that long.
Yeah. Well, that's going to put
wonder who's going to screw it over because they're going to complain about the hot, and we're going to get, we're going to lose them again.
Get taken away. It's going to take a hit on some of these little farmers markets where they sell the deep fried hand pies, because we were so jonesing for so long for a fried pie that, you would obsess and scour these little markets to you get so excited. You're like, they have fried hand pies.
Well, it has to be fresh. There is a difference between, and yes, there are a lot of markets that, like you said, sell them at the, at the register, impulse
those aren't
buy.
the same as
it's
hot out of the.
It's certainly not. But I guess to your point, there's always the fairs, that circuit. You know, those outdoor activities that you could pick up a deep fry. Well, hell, they deep fry everything, Oreos,
right?
Everything. And so when we went to, and here the rub though, and of course I guess I'd be curious how much they were back in '92, but $2.20 for one, $2.99 for two. So of course that's the way to go.
You got to get two.
But and then of course you want the ice cream with it, and what's McDonald's is notoriously famous for the fact that the machine's
ice cream
broke.
Machine isn't working yet.
But surprisingly, here in North Carolina, we honestly don't run into that all that often.
Not anymore.
Well, so for what it's worth, and thank technology for this. You've heard of McBroken, right?
Oh,
www.mcbroken. It's amazing because it'll tell you at any given moment, and they poll all their stores every 15 minutes whether or not the ice cream machine is
working
down.
or not.
But when we ordered ours, I ordered two sets of two. Disappointed that they only had one set because, of course, right now they're so popular.
Right.
But the ice cream wasn't an issue.
No.
But the cups, the little Sunday cups, they seem much smaller now than they used to. But yeah, that's kind of nice to have that back. And if you've ever worried about getting your ice cream fix at McDonald's, check out McBroken.com. It's an amazing tool. And speaking of convenience, something we had talked about in an earlier episode when we looked at the big convenience stores, i.e. the Buc-ee's, the
even
Quick
7-Eleven,
Trips, the QTs, not the Quick Trips, but the Quick Trips with the K and the QT, and all those. They're in the news again, but they're in the news for kind of an odd reason. Apparently, everyone that's visiting from out of the country for this FIFA stuff,
The World Cup soccer.
they are enamored, constantly posting pictures of all these FIFA foreigners at Buc-ee's and Bass Pro Shop. Now, Bass Pro Shops wasn't the focus of our conversation in an earlier episode, but Buc-ee's. Everyone, all these foreigners are trying everything at Buc-ee's, including the beaver nuggets, which they are, find amazing. But
Well, I mean, we get excited. I mean, we just, in North Carolina, they just broke ground on our one that's going to be open. I mean, we get excited to go to Buc-ee's.
oh no, there's no question. And
But it is flooding social media.
And one of the storylines that are coming out of this that I find fascinating, because again, we just take it for granted because we're here in America, but I guess the thing that the Europeans are so overjoyed with, and they don't understand, they're constantly showing pictures of them with their little Buc-ee's cups going to the ice machine and filling them to the absolute top with ice. Because apparently ice in Europe is still a problem. You just can't, I guess you can't get it. Which I don't understand how that's the case.
I don't know.
They
Or maybe
not
they
have
don't want to.
refrigeration?
Maybe they don't want to waste the energy on refrigeration, or I don't know.
But
Maybe
yeah,
they're more green than we are.
They're filling their cups up with ice. The cup runneth over with this gold that we call ice. Hell, why aren't we exporting that?
Yeah.
Make a fortune on that. But yeah, the fact that all these foreigners are thrilled and enamored with our Buc-ee's, and then the Bass Pro Shops, I should have read a little bit deeper into that article. It's in the New York Times, but apparently they're also they love Bass Pro Shop. Well, there's a lot of fishing in Europe. Maybe that does stand to reason. I don't.
Right. Or, it is an amazingly large store, and it feeds into
When was the last time we were at Bass Pro Shop? I can tell you the last time I was there, and it wasn't a real pleasant visit.
Oh, yeah, you were looking for the bathroom.
Oh, my Lord. But and again, one of those situations where no one in this house talks about Bass Pro Shop. I mean, I think the last time we had ever gone, well, we go with,
if we
there's
go
one
to the
mall that
mall.
it's an anchor, and you just go there because of the damn fish tank. Because
Right.
part of the problem I have with Bass Pro Shops is you're inundated with those people asking about, when's the last time you took a vacation? Right?
Yeah.
You can't get past that. And then the whole entrance thing with you got to go in one
The
way, out the different
turnstile
way.
and yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever purchased anything from there. We'll walk around.
But yeah, my point, so I had unfortunately had to go visit one just because I had a situation, and came home, kind of talked about it a little bit, made fun of myself, and for the next week or so, I'm, getting emails about sales at Bass Pro Shops. Again,
Because your phone was in proximity.
Certainly. I mean, that's
awful.
It's getting to the point where
Technology.
But so this soccer thing, I guess, is what.
Well, yeah, you have all these meal deals about the FIFA World Cup meal deals, and
Well, it's just, why is it so popular? I mean, and it's the media is shoving it down our throats like this is the greatest thing, and I still don't understand. I can't watch it on. It's like watching paint dry. I mean, it's one thing when they're about to score. It's kind of like, for me, we've talked about this with basketball. Basketball's fun in the last 2 minutes.
right. Let's
Period.
have everybody
It's-
run a couple miles and then play 5 minutes of basketball.
Unlike we've recently discovered again. Well, I've been a closet hockey observer, especially with the way the Carolina Hurricanes have been playing the last few years.
Canes!
And the fact they just brought the cup home, which is amazing.
Now that's a sporting event.
That's to me, it is like football, because at any given momentum, when
American
the offense
football,
has,
yeah.
yes, there's always a possibility of a score, something happening, right?
Right.
It's not that, again, basketball is interesting, especially when the
Somebody hits the 3 points.
well the 64. I mean, and let's face it, the Knicks, that was a great series.
Yeah.
That just happened, and we're big fans of the NCAA, 64, March Madness.
Yeah,
Ton
that's
of fun. And there, part of the fun is then you get all these, potential Cinderella stories, teams that would not get the national attention. But I'm floored at why soccer in this country, kicking football soccer, is supposedly, media is nonstop talking about. They've been talking about the U.S. hosting the FIFA World Cup now, and of course it's going on. I have no idea the whole innards of where they're playing. I know they're playing in multiple cities, and the teams are staying in multiple places, and I just don't understand the popularity, because this was something that, much like the metrics when we were in school, soccer was kind of shoved down our throats in gym class in the 70s and 80s, right? I mean, that was...
Well, yeah, you huddle around a ball and you kick each other's shins. I wouldn't call that playing.
Well, but
we played more kickball than soccer.
Well, yeah, but see, I guess that's the other thing is, I know they've tried to start kickball leagues. I'm sure there are a few out there, but as an extracurricular activity in a lot of elementary or a lot of middle school and high school,
our kids never played.
Well, they didn't offer it. Well, again, it's a different time, right? There's very little, school sponsored, for lack of a better. Sports.
Right. And the easiest one for parents to overschedule their children into is a soccer team.
But again, I just don't understand the popularity, because of course, according to AI, I asked AI, why is soccer so popular? And its answer was because the equipment is inexpensive, accessible to everyone. I guess a ball and shoes truly are a simple thing to have, and a net or something to kick it into. But unlike, I don't know how you practice soccer when it's a team sport. It's not an individual sport.
Right. You have to have buddies in the neighborhood that
want to play with you.
Right. And have the free time to play with you.
Yeah. Unlike, yes, I could certainly hear the argument that, well, if you like hockey, but you got to be in a cold place for hockey. I mean, yes, there's no question that hockey is kind of difficult, especially if you don't have an ice rink to practice on, and certainly the equipment. But it's, to me, I'm still baffled at the notion that this huge field with how many people are on the field, there's very little action, and then the other part of AI's response to why it's so popular, besides its equipment's inexpensive, it's the rules are simple. Which, yes, the basic idea of kicking a ball into the net. Now,
unless you try to figure out how many minutes are left in a damn soccer game,
well,
I have no idea.
And that was the point I was going to bring up. I have, it's supposed to be 90 minutes, but for any reason, as I've turned on some of these games, they're at minute 96. What the? And when's it going to stop? It just and all of a sudden it stops. There's no rhyme or reason. Yes, I know that has to do with. Actually, I don't even know what it has to do with. I think it has to do with when the ball goes out of bounds. Sometimes the clock's constantly running, and then they add minutes. If there's a situation where somebody's down, get some medical attention, they add a minute or two here.
I guess if it were a little more exciting, I would want to pay attention to find out the rules. But
the stands are full. But I guess the question is, who are the stands are full with? Of course,
maybe beer is inexpensive at a soccer game. I mean, it's something to do outside, outdoors.
Well,
it's something to do.
Not to sound horrible, but that was. You found a lot of ice people hanging out at soccer places, because I don't know that. Are Americans watching and going to soccer games, or is it just all those that? I mean, I'd love for you guys
to comment and bring us to the light, because we just don't get it. I've never even watched, in all these years, any of the what the final game is even called. I don't think I've ever watched it or even known it was a big TV event. I mean, I'm not a basketball person, and I'll watch the finals for that. I mean, but. Yeah,
so that's part of.
How is this a huge media event?
So that's part of, again, AI's answer was massive TV audience. So of course,
define massive.
Well, that's what. Again, it's Yeah, so the answer to that question is a headline from Fox and Telemundo is that this FIFA season is setting records for both networks, Fox and Telemundo, with the numbers of viewers. And of course, asshole me asks the question, well, how many is that? 6 million have watched FIFA games. Well, no offense, The Simpsons, even now, 30 years later, average 2 million. An episode that's on every
week.
So how are we comparing a massive audience of 6 million to a cartoon that averages 2? And it's on all the time. Now, okay, maybe it's an apples and orange argument. Let's compare it to other sports. Well, that's another piece. They've been shoving the women's basketball league down our throats for the last how many years?
Right.
The average viewership for that's 300,000. 300,000 people watching a game. Now,
just a regular game, not a playoff game. But
right.
The playoff games are even bigger.
Hell, Josh and Mama on YouTube have more than 300,000 people watching them in total. I mean, I'm just saying they've got, they have 1 million subscribers.
Right.
So no offense, they're doing better than women's basketball.
Right.
And I guess that's my frustration is everywhere you turn, the segue from McDonald's. I mean, now, our McDonald's was funny because, they advertise these FIFA cups.
Right.
And at one time, after I went through the line, I said, hey, how do you get one of those cups? So didn't I order like a meal or something like that? They go, we don't have any. I don't think ours is interested in, or maybe they gave them away. I don't know.
Yeah, but out here in the country, that's not a sport. We got all kinds of amateur and pro rodeo.
Well, and yeah, that could be a whole other topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that they claim, again, huge
is 6
television
million.
audience, I'm not sure I understand where that comparison is. And, I do find it frustrating that sports has become so regional, that we were commenting. For example, I don't know how many of y'all knew the Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup. And as a matter of fact, it kind of upset me that there was way more coverage for the Knicks by national TV than at all for
the Stanley Cup.
The Stanley Cup that was also going on at the same time. And again,
and
cleverly,
they had viewership of 6 million.
The
Stanley Cup.
Well, that's an average.
Average, yeah.
They to your point, I don't know that they've released final numbers from this last one, but yeah, their average for a Stanley Cup is over 6 million. Whereas again, you can't.
And hockey isn't all that popular.
It's so. No. I mean, because
to put that on par, that soccer is on par. Soccer to me is not huge here.
And maybe it's a regional thing, right? One of the things that living in the South, especially, coming from the North, that the amount of time your local news would spend on sports, it's shockingly little.
Right, and we have a pro team here in the Charlotte area.
Yes, we do, and very fair weather fans. But and again, that's not being negative.
But how can you play soccer in 95-degree weather?
Well, how can you that? So that's been we've experienced this. Charlotte. The Panthers are playing in the Bank of America Stadium. In August, September, October, November, and it can still hit 80 here. And then when you're sitting baking in the sun, you don't want to watch football.
No, you don't.
And I'm not saying that's the excuse.
And you want to wear your football gear. You want to wear, it's fall, you want to wear a sweatshirt.
Well, again, I'm not saying it's an excuse, but maybe the FIFA thing has I guess my comparison is much like some of the sports that we experience in this country. It's very regional. That hockey is certainly much more popular in places that have, well-established team. I mean, the originals, right?
Right.
Which I had no idea looking at the history that the Whalers became the Carolina.
Oh, I had
Hurricanes.
no idea.
Well, we were talking about that before, but yeah, and so I guess again my point with the regional aspect of it, where we are the only thing that truly exists from a sporting professional perspective is the Panthers.
Right.
That's all we have. But I tell you what.
But if you say NASCAR, that's even
NASCAR is huge. Well, that's again, we're in South.
That's the thing here.
And shockingly, and it's kind of fun. Minor league baseball's huge down here.
Well,
stadiums are gorgeous.
Yeah. Food's decent.
Food's great. The number of attendance, fantastic. Again, now, yes, I can't compare that to filling a 90,000 seat arena for soccer. But those games don't happen often. It's like football. You can fill a stadium because it's once a week. It's not, like baseball, you can't fill it all the time. So you can't compare those numbers to this soccer thing. But at the same time, we have professional soccer in this country, and I don't know how successful it really is.
Well, where do you watch it? You have to subscribe?
I don't know. It's not on national that I'm aware of. I mean,
right.
Again,
I guess since we're not looking for it, we don't know.
Yeah, and forgive me, the true topic or the argument here is, it seems to me, my perspective, and someone tells me, correct me, that FIFA, for whatever reason, from a media perspective, is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And again, I can't see it. I don't know it. I couldn't even tell you who's in it. Hell, as a matter of fact, I thought Charlotte was hosting games or something to that effect, and AI told me no. So it must be they had something to do with the run up to FIFA.
The playoffs.
I
maybe.
think
I
don't know. But soccer's going on across the country. There are major locations that, again, maybe in those cities, certainly it's bigger. But again, I'm not. That's where I scratch my head.
In the bigger cities, they're a melting pot. So you have different nationalities, and so maybe they like to see their native country play, and it gives them nostalgia for back home. I don't know, but out in the country, we don't care about international teams.
So, we've got another topic coming up we're going to talk about in the next episode, where something else that's been going on a lot in the media is that people are hanging their hats on the identification of certain genes, and that they're going to take that information and do all they can to prevent whatever marker of that gene is. The big one lately is this Alzheimer's gene, and that'll be the next episode of The Works. But until then, appreciate y'all tuning in, and like and subscribe. That helps us out tremendously. And until next time, this is Jim.
I'm Diane.
And this has been another edition of The Works.